that is not actually a trademark. It has to indicate the source of specific goods and services. All right, so the other thing I want to point out while we are here, and we're going to come back to this, okay, in a little bit. When you take a look at those logos, do we ever see those logos in black and white out here in the real world?
Rarely.
Rarely, exactly, right? But I will tell you right now, this is how these companies register their trademarks with our office. And they did it this way for a very specific reason, and it is a reason that all of you in this room can also take advantage of, right? It's not just for the big companies, it's for everybody. And what it does is potentially expands the scope of the protection of your trademark. Okay? I think for those of you who are business owners in the room, you might be interested in that. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to come back to that again. I'm just setting up cliffhangers here, little teasers. Okay. Okay. All right. We're going to come back to it, but I want you to keep in mind, and if I don't talk about it or Kyle doesn't talk about it, please shout out and just yell at us, okay? And we will take care of it. Okay. So let's talk about what a trademark actually does. It is something that identifies the source of goods and services and distinguishes them from the goods and services of another party. Really what we're talking about is a word, a symbol, a slogan, a design, something like that, that indicates the source of specific goods and services and distinguishes from other parties, right? One additional way to think about it is legal protection for your brand, right? How many marketing people do we have in the room today? Usually there's a couple marketing folks, really. All right, so when you're marketing folks, right, and again, oftentimes marketing folks when they talk about a brand, it's really how the customers feel about you. Yeah, every time I see that Coca-Cola logo, I can hear in my mind. Right? And it brings back a warm summer day sitting with grandma, right? So it evokes this feeling of nostalgia or whatever it happens to be, right? You see a Ford, you're like, sweet, I know I'm going to go mudding this weekend, or whatever it is, right? So these brands evoke a feeling in you. How do you protect a feeling? You can't, really, right? But as you're building up your brand, as you're building up your business, one of the things you might want to do is think about how to protect what you can protect, which is actually your trademark. And so your brand name, your slogan, your logo is something that you can protect, even if you can't protect the feeling. You with me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's talk about what a trademark does not do, okay? A trademark does not mean that you legally own a word or a phrase. It also does not mean you can stop other people from saying that word or that phrase, and it does not mean that people owe you money if they say that word or that phrase. All right, I have heard that before. Jason, if I trademark this, that means every time someone says it, they owe me a nickel, right? No, that is not how that works, right? So if we think about this, Apple Incorporated has federally registered the word Apple to indicate the source of their specific products and services, right? Does that mean that they own the word Apple? Right? Can it stop me from saying the word Apple? Do I owe them 35 cents because I've said Apple sometimes today? No, of course not, right?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl? No. They don't own it. Exactly. What it means is they have the exclusive right to use it to indicate the source of specific products and services. Right? So it's not ownership of the word or the phrase. It's the exclusive right to use it. So Super Bowl, right, the NFL, might have a pretty expansive view of what they think that exclusive right happens to be, right? Apple might, have a pretty expanded view of what they think they have the exclusive right to use Apple in association with, right? But it's not ownership of that word or phrase, it's the exclusive right to use it. And the size of that exclusive right will sort of expand and contract, oftentimes depending upon the strength of your trademark, which is something that Kyle is going to be talking about here in a couple of minutes. So really, this is kind of how it breaks down. One of you, maybe you're in this room today, ask a question about the difference between a trademark and a service mark, or that TM or that SM. This is really how it boils down. Trademark indicates the source of goods, service mark indicates the source of services, but honestly, folks, you really don't have to worry about the difference between the two. All right? You can refer to both of them as a trademark or even a mark, and that is totally fine, okay? So, what we're going to talk about right now are some common source identifiers. These are what I like to refer to as the big three, okay? Everybody, thanks for coming in. Anybody who's standing in the back, you're welcome to grab a seat if you want to.
Good to see you.
What, you taking off?
I'm going to take off.
All right, cool. Well, you know what all at this point, so. No, Eric, he was here last year, okay?
Right, well, get this clear. He's gonna give a great presentation. I heard it last year. So I might come back and we talk prior to, if I'm gonna catch us, this workshop tomorrow. He's gonna elaborate a lot more on what you studied.
Awesome, thank you very much for coming, appreciate it. All right.
You get it.
Okay, that's a good spot. You're in a good spot back there. So, okay, all right. So let's talk about the big three. Okay, this is what I like to refer to as. Okay, we're talking about brand names, slogans, and logos. Okay, most of you, when you hear the word trademark, this is probably what you think of. And actually, we get a lot of the questions sometimes. People talk about like, oh, I wanted to, what about trademarking my logo or my logo being a trade? Yeah, all of those things. That's all kind of the same, right? So these are the big things that people are often thinking about when they're thinking about trademarks. Let me give you an example for those of you who can see it. It's down in the bottom left-hand corner there. You see the word Coca-Cola. You cannot see the word Coca-Cola, sir, but trust me, it is there. Okay? And so what you see down there is the brand name Coca-Cola. That is what one of the things that Coca-Cola has registered with our office. The brand name alone. Now you'll see it's up there in Times New Roman font. Do we ever see the Coca-Cola trademark in Times New Roman font? No, of course not. We see it in their Spencerian font, right? But that is how they apply to register it with us, and they did it for a very important reason, and that is because this is what is referred to as a standard character format drawing, which means it's protection for the wording itself. Not what it looks like, but for the wording itself. And that might sound limiting, but it's actually incredibly expensive because it means over the life of the trademark registration, they can put their wording in whatever font style, size, color they want to and still have protection. When they submit their evidence to us to show how they're still using it, we do not care what font it is in, okay? If Coca-Cola wants to put it in Comic Sans, they can, okay? Why would they? I don't know, okay? But they could if they wanted to, and we'd be like, sweet, way to go, guys, okay? So this actually gives you a pretty expansive scope of protection. Same thing here with slogans. It's the real thing. Always Coca-Cola, open happiness. Think of any slogan. Anyone want to shout one out? There it is. Okay, that's always top of mind. I love it, right? Or I'm loving it. Or good, right? So think about all sorts of slogans that are out there. People always ask, can I register one? Yes, you can. There may be some limitations, but it's absolutely something you can do. The other thing I want to point out here are logos. Okay, yes, you can apply and register your logo with our office. You can see the Always Coca-Cola button right here. You can also see the two-dimensional Coca-Cola bottle right there. So they've registered both of those logos with our office. And once again, you will see that they are registered without color. And again, they did it for a very specific reason. And the reason is when you register your logo with us, not in color, it means that you don't have to claim any color in your application. And it also means that over the life of the registration, you can put it in whatever color you want to. And when you submit that evidence to us, we're not going to be like, no, sorry, you applied in pink and green, this is purple and orange, no good. So if you register your trademark not in color or without color, it gives you more flexibility over the life of your trademark registration. All right, so Kyle and I cannot provide you with legal advice today. So what I'm saying right now is not legal advice. Okay? But I will tell you that in all of my years with working with small business owners, invariably what they're going to do is one of two things. Especially as you're just starting out, you might not have a whole lot of money that you want to or can put towards trademark registration. Most times people are going to do one of two things. If it's the wording that they want to protect, they apply to register the standard character format version of it. And if you come to our workshop tomorrow, you're going to see Kyle is going to go through the form. You will see where you choose. That's the one I want, right? You can choose that version that you see up there, which is protection for the wording alone. And for folks who do want to also protect what it looks like, they might submit another application to protect the logo, and they submit it without color to give themselves that expanded scope of protection. All that makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I got like one more slide, and I'm going to turn it over to because we have to move fast. Ooh. So here's the other thing, and I'll move quickly through this. I'm going to talk pretty quickly. Okay, so here's the thing that I just want you to think trademark so long as it indicates the source of specific products and services. It could be a sound, like the NBC chimes. Bum, bum, bum. Actually, one of our colleagues realized that she's a big Law and Order fan. They actually registered the dum-dum. Yep. So anytime you hear something, like those of you, there's no one in this room, but anyone old enough to remember the beginning of the internet in the late 90s and early 2000s, you might remember Yahoo. Yahoo. Yeah, that was a very good. The Lion Orient beginning of an MGM movie, also a federally registered trademark. Oh, now an Amazon company. It could be coloring. So you can't tell it because it's been around for a long time, but in the bottom left-hand corner there, that brick-looking thing is actually lined for the color pink. What that is the first federally registered trademark with our office, registered by Owens Corning for pink when used with fiberglass insulation. So if you've ever seen pink fiberglass insulation, you were looking at a federally registered trademark. Okay? Anyone in this room been lucky enough to receive jewelry in a robin's egg blue box? Yeah. Tiffany's, right? They have registered that color when used with their boxes and some of their bags and things like that. One of the things that probably everyone in this room has seen, regardless of whether you've been gifted jewelry or not, is you look out the window, you see a brown panel truck and somebody hops out in their brown uniform. You know who that is, right? Yell it out. UPS. It's UPS, or as my neighbor back home used to call it, the US man. Right? So, but the thing is, right, UPS doesn't own the color brown. Okay? They have the exclusive right to use it with their trucks and with their uniforms to indicate the source of their parcel delivery services. Right? So it's not ownership of the color, it's the exclusive right to use it that way. And I'll tell you, UPS had a little bit of trouble getting it registered with us, and at first we were like, just because it's brown, how does anybody know it's you? And so UPS went on an advertising campaign, and there's a slogan. Anybody remember the slogan?
What can Brown do for you?
Yes, nailed it. What can Brown do for you, right? And so they educated us when we see Brown, boom, we automatically see that truck, we see the person hop out, and they're like, tube socks and their short shorts. We're like, yeah, that's man. Okay. All right, and the other thing I'll point out there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is the three-dimensional shape of the Coca-Cola bottle. You know it's Coca-Cola, even though it doesn't say the word Coca-Cola on it. The shape of that bottle is actually functioning as a trademark. When you see it, you automatically know it. Anybody in this room ever been in a Chipotle? Yeah, right? I could blindfold you, drop you off in a Chipotle, rip off the blindfold, and be like, yeah, I'm in a Chipotle, right? They have federally registered the trade dress, the look and feel of their restaurant. Those of you who have been out west going to an In-N-Out, that is also federally registered trademark. Ever walk by an Apple store? Federally registered trademark. Okay? So you don't have to have any of these things, folks. Okay? I don't want you to spin out and be like, oh my goodness, Jason said I've got apple color in the salad. Nope. I want you to think creatively about what it is that your customers are using when they're trying to find you in the marketplace. What are you using to differentiate yourself from your competitors? Okay, real quick. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kyle. All right, does a federally registered trademark mean you own a word or a phrase?
No.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so good. We didn't talk about this. Okay, we might have to come back to this because we got to move. But do you have to use your business name as your trademark?
Nope.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so good. That is right, you do not. Business name is just what you register with your state. Your trademark is the super awesome thing that you use with the members of the public so they can identify you in the marketplace. All right, you're up, bud.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Jason.
Come back.
Yeah, my mom said no one wants to look at your face for more than 10 minutes at a time, so I'll throw her into that. So remember the benefits of having a federal registration. One of the questions that I get all the time is, hey Kyle, do I even have to get a federal registration? Am I just not protected if I don't have this federal registration? And the answer is no, you don't have to get a federal registration in order to have your trademark rights protected. But if you don't have that federal registration,